G'day everyone, welcome to the Opal Mills channel. Today I've just been recovering a bit from a sugar rush, metaphorically. I've used the analogy, I feel like a kid in a candy shop. Well, I'll change that to I feel like a kid in an eye candy shop, and they kind of locked me in overnight. Oops. So I made myself sick, so to speak. I gorged. So today we've got some really nice opal to have a good look at, and we'll start with the bottom rung, believe it or not. Not a bottom rung by any means of quality, but it'll just keep getting better. So I'm going to go through a few purchases in a minute that I've recently made, and one's a special purchase I kind of alluded to in the last live stream. I had something coming up to show you all, and so this will be that. Now, a couple of things I want to cover in the meantime is, I also mentioned my gem club, Southern Rockhounds. We're having a gem fair on the 6th and 7th this coming weekend at Christie's Beach. So if you're in the area, come along, have a look. It's pretty cool. Lots of displays and things to buy, food, and kids entertainment, all that sort of thing. So we're also doing a raffle, and that'll be drawn 3 p.m. on the Sunday the 7th. And there's only 1,000 tickets, so I went and bought a few and thought I'll put you guys' names on them, and I had to figure out a way to do that. So I said the first 15 comments in last live stream, I'll just whack your name on a ticket. So I'll just flick through these, and if you see your name, one of these is yours. There's 15 tickets in total. And every one of these left the comments in the first 15 comments on that video. So this was just a spur of the moment idea, not really part of a giveaway or anything, just some fun. So for everyone here, that's your ticket, and best of luck. I'll keep you postponed on the draw and the outcome. So there we go, there's 15 tickets. Congratulations to those who have a chance of possibly winning any one of these made by members of our club. Some fantastic prizes in there. I wish I had pictures to go along with this, but I'll include that once the weekend comes. I'll do a bit of footage there and show you all. So anyway, that's coming up, and that's that sorted. And something else coming up next year, and someone brought this to my attention again in an email, and so I was asked, am I maybe going to attend the Mudgee Jamboree next year? And I replied, if I can get across the border, I'm there. That'd be great. I'd love to. Last one was held in Tasmania. I entered that, and I got the couple of first prizes. So that's novice and intermediate out the way. I'll go into the open class for the next entries I do, and I'll definitely be trying to get something in for this. So that's something else coming up next year, and I do hope to make it. We'll see how the borders in Australia go. It's all up in the air as far as I'm concerned. Things change too often. I don't keep up with it. So we'll see what happens when the time comes. And yeah, that's that and that. Next, we're going to take a look at the opal I've just recently procured. First, I'd like to say thank you to every one of these miners that's pulled these out and made this available, and I've had access to it. It's been awesome. I could not afford it all. So some of this has been bought by someone else, but I will be cleaning it up, and that will be in a video as well, so we're going to get to see that. Awesome. Thank you to that person. And I'm going to keep names and numbers out of all this for respect for others involved. I can only tell my side of the story, so to speak. I hope you understand. So, yeah, all I can say is what I'm about to show you, in total, we're talking into the tens of thousands here in these next items I'll be showing you, including this one. So there was quite a bit of money spent here, and that's irrelevant really, because it's Opal and it's going to be worth so much more when it's done with. This is magical stuff here. I can't believe I got some of this. So we'll zoom in. This will be the first one I'm going to go through. So this is a parcel I picked up while I was in Andamooka, and it's been available for a while, but it took me a while to get to it, and I'm so glad it was still available because it is absolutely gorgeous. So get the tub out. A bit of a squeeze. So some really, really nice pieces in here, and some pieces that are a little bit heartbreaking. I'll go for the heartbreaking first. The bigger pieces. Whilst we'll cut small stones, it's because of the amount of cracks that did end up in it. Not too sure if it was through any fault of the miner. It's the kind of thing that some of the ground you're digging, someone else has already been there. So whatever's happened to that ground has affected that ground when someone else comes along. And if they've used explosives in the past, anything in the vicinity that wasn't picked up immediately, it may end up with the effects of such treatment. And then the next person comes in, pulls it out, and it's already a bit shattered up. So unfortunate, but there's some really nice little stones, I think, to be had in these. A few pieces. This one's not so bad. May cut a few stones up that way. One there, one there, one there. See what the bottom does. Might be a good carving too. I like carving. It's very, I'd like to say relaxing, but I also think therapeutic. You just get off into the zone. So yeah, a little bit broken up on those bits, unfortunately, but still some really nice quality opal here. We'll dodge and weave our way through it when we go to cut it. I like this bar up here, this clear patch right in here, sort of a darkish patch right above this blue. Watch this. See if I can get it to, yeah, it's a bit there. It shows up golds and reds and everything in there. There we go. So there's a really nice bar in there, but I don't think it goes too far. There's also a fracture through it. Yeah, cut my thumb the other day breaking some of this apart, so I'm not too going to put too much pressure on my thumb or the opal anymore at the moment. And some of this, due to the shape, I think it's going to make a really cool carving. I mean, you could make sergeant stripes just by slicing that through. That's a pretty cool shape. But I think that way up, it has some great potential for a nice little carving. Just a bit of a tidy up and get rid of some of this potch, but it's just the formation that's in it as well gets displayed. So I'd really like to go through the reasoning behind a lot of the times when I cut stones a certain way, just so you kind of understand my process anyway, of why I decide to do what I do, the way I do it. And I'll go through that in a sec. Check that bit out. That is awesome. So it's going to be 2 stones in that, but so bright. Now, there's going to be, yeah, I'll leave that for later. I'll talk later on that. Sorry, I'm thinking in my head here as I go, unscripted. So yeah, there's some really nice pieces in here, and I think that'll make an amazing pendant. So cutting, if you're in the industry and out to entirely it's make money. You may have your own personal collection, do what the heck you damn please. But as far as the industry goes, there's expectations. People are educated loosely on Opal when they buy, and then they go by those rules and standards set down by whoever informed them on Opal. Now, as they say, in the end, Opal's, anything. It's worth what someone's going to pay for it. But there has to be an agreed upon value. And so, yes, there's a kind of a system on Opal, and the valuing and the patterns and the carats, the brightness, the colour, the thickness, the weight, everything, the shape, the cut. I mentioned the cut. And so you'll end up in a bit of a rabbit hole if you go down there. And if you're purely out to buy Opal, that's the rabbit hole you're going to have to go down. But for everyone else who's out to just cut for themselves and wants something nice, and because you're producing it for yourself, you want to bargain on what you buy. At least that's the way it's going to seem for what you're going to end up with. And if you're like me, you just dismiss anything I did to the Opal. It's a case of forget what I did. Look at the Opal, it stands on its own. It did this. And so if I took a $10 stone and make it into a $100 stone, it's a $90 profit in your head, because it's like, yeah, but if I paid myself the hourly rate, and how long did it take me to cut it? And if you worked out the math, industry says, no, you can't do it like that. It's not feasible. There's no profit. There's no money. You go backwards. So forget industry. Unless you're really trying to enter that side of the market, or you like to, and because it just suited you, not because you were told to. But for the rest of the time, I like to just cut, and this is just me. I love Opal. I know what I like to see, and I don't like to be told what I need to be seeing and then appreciate it based on that set of rules. So I like to do what I like to do, which you've probably noticed a lot with my videos. As much as, if I can, I'll cut a standard oval, or, make it more traditional in what it is, but I do like carving. Even a piece like that would be a fantastic carving, just because you lose that effect of everything you're looking at when you turn this piece. There's green there, there's purpley blues there with a hint of red up there, and you just got this face here. And if you cut that into a stone, yes, it's going to look fantastic like a stone, but you're going to lose everything else you can see right now, reduced just so you can highlight one of those spots. And yes, for high-end jewelry, great, you need to do that. It's just going to sit there face one way anyway. But for me, I like to be able to make jewelry out of it, but I also like to cut it however I want. So I'd encourage anyone that likes Opal is to trust your own taste. Produce stuff you like, and then people that like the same things you like are probably going to be your market if you end up selling. And these people can't find what they like because everyone else is cutting ovals, and I like carvings or freeform. Some people like the rustic look. There's many of a customer base, if you will, to be able to go, I'll cut some this way, I'll cut some that way, and I'll keep everyone happy. But at the end of the day, for me, this is all about me, technically. The byproduct of making money or anything like that comes afterwards. I have to enjoy myself before I call it a true success of any kind. Otherwise, it just seems too much like work. Oh dear. And a lot of these stones, even like this piece, I'm probably going to do a carving just because it's nice and big and you could get a nice thick stone out of it. The way I'm going to tidy it up is going to probably be in a way that any future potential cut that's in here right now will still be in there once I've finished with it. Nothing I'm going to take off isn't going to be something that wouldn't have to have been taken off anyway to get a stone. So it's always still going to have whatever potential it has now after I carve it. But it's going to be a carving instead. And as I say, if someone wants to chase bigger bucks and think it's worth cutting, they could do that later down the track, or just keep enjoying it as it is. It depends if you're an Opal lover or if you just Capitalist. Sorry. No, we all want to know that, you know, what we're doing is what we've all heard about too. It's like, oh, I see the $1 million version rainbow belemnite. $1 million, what? So if you end up with something even slightly similar, you kind of think, yes, I'm onto it. Don't forget the marketing other people have put into that to make it seem it is what it is when they're trying to sell it for that kind of a price. When there's no precedent, so to speak, as such. Or it has now decided to become the precedent because it's the first to be that bright, that shape, that hole, and that price. It's a really nice piece. I like this piece. So this piece is thick enough. So just on the subject of which way do I cut it? Well, you could cut it traditionally where it's like, well, clearly it was formed that way as the bars run. And gravity let them sit. But up that way, you could make that the face then, and you'd get that kind of a pattern. But then I'd lose that pattern there. Or I could go for that one, you know, like this one's actually thick enough to cut some small little earring or little ring stones out of, and I could probably get 2 to 3 out of it that way. Or I could cut it across that way, and again get 2, yeah, at least 3. Or I'll keep it one big stone, cut it that way, and see how it turns out. So I think I might keep it that way up because that pattern there will carry over as I round it up and over. It's thick enough too. But there's more than one way to skin a cat was an expression I grew up with. Excuse the graphic here, but you know, you can either go north, south, east, west. Depends which way you want to slice it, you know. One way you're going to skin it and you're going to get a pelt or a skin that you can lay out as such, or the other way you just peel it around the midsection and peel them apart like socks. Like you can skin a cat, and there's 2 ways. There's many other ways. Some of them are a bit messy. Sorry about that analogy. That's one I had to grow up with, but it just explains that you don't have to go about the same, you know, all the time. There's more than one way to achieve a result. It depends on what you want, or if you're cutting for a client or for somebody else, a commission type thing, someone's asked you to do it, you got to, you know, offer your skills based upon their tastes, unless they ask you to go, oh no, you just do what you do, please. That's also a thing. But when you want to cut for yourself, a lot of, I'd say my viewers here, you guys are not in the industry fully. If you are, well, you already know what you're doing. But for everyone else, it's not so easy to break into to just start making sales because you've got a really nice opal. You've got to market it a bit. A bit of red in there. It's a nice piece. It's got some sand in it, unfortunately. Let's see if I can do this. My light doesn't want to work. If I shine some light through it, you can see that up in here on the inside has a lot of this goes down into it to about here. So I'm going to have to slice that off and see what I can get out the top. And go for that bar down there. But yeah, you have fun doing what you're doing without being so concerned on am I making somebody else happy? Unless you're trying to get into the industry, and then I think you need to find what courses, jewel and lapidary, get some certification of some kind. But yeah, I don't think most of us are going to be too serious about it. Okay, you want a nice finished product and you're going to want to have other people look at it and go, yeah, that looks great. But for me, I get that even though I do my own thing. Not everyone's going to go, yeah, that's great. But you get enough people going, yeah, that's great. It's like, well, cool, job done. People like it. That's the main thing. And it looks different to every other piece. I mean, Opal does anyway, but when you start cutting the same shapes over and over and over and over, it's irrelevant the colour. They're all just the same. You rely on the colour pattern and all that to be able to tell the difference, because the shape-wise, if you just felt them in your hand, you go, well, that one feels like the same as the next one. And to the feel, I can't tell the difference. I think with carving, I don't know, I'm not going to question the pricing system, but I think the effort that goes into the cut should be reflected in the price a bit more. And I know some carvings can achieve a really nice price, but also the reason the higher price is attributed to the beautiful cut oval high dome is because of what it took to get that. There was probably a good wastage of some good opal to get that shape, and that has to be reflected in the cut. And I think that's, how can I put this delicately? That's more of a fashion thing. You know, people just want what they want, and are prepared to pay for it, which is great, don't get me wrong. But as a cutter and an opal lover, I have a hard time, destroying things down into something smaller, which is why I take some time deciding sometimes what I'm going to do with it. I did get a comment on one of my videos that I dissected up that matrix rock, and they said it should be illegal what I've done. I'm like, okay, mate. Didn't know you're an opal expert and I was going to get critiqued like this, but okay. So apparently I did something bad according to them, and it should be illegal. But it's my opal, I do what I want. Buy your own, do what you want. It's not like I grabbed someone else's opal and said, oh, well, don't worry about it, I'll just do what I want and mess it up. I absorb my own faults and lessons. But I think I did alright out of that piece anyway, so I'm not really fussed about their comment too much. Because a lot of other people, majoritarily, said, yep, love what you done. And so it's not something everyone's going to like. Don't be worried about trying to please the majority. Just like that piece there, just carve it. You could try and cut a stone, nice pretty little stone. And for the end user that only ever gets to see that stone, they go, yep, fantastic. But if you got to see a piece like this and saw the potential in a nice big carving compared to the little stone it's going to cut, you might think differently. I think too much is served up to a client or a customer as such, and they never get to see this side of things and realise that it could be done differently, because they're sort of dictated to by the industry and the oval cuts, high dome, gold setting. Yeah. Apparently if I set in silver, it denotes that my stones aren't worth much. I've had that comment by an industry, I won't name them, but an industry jeweler section of a shop. And I kind of laughed at them because I'm like, I just made that, mate. I know the stone's worth a fair bit, but I only work with silver. That's got nothing to do with its value just because it's in silver. That's just because that's what I did with it. It doesn't devalue the stone, so clearly they had no idea about opal. They were just evaluating the metal probably as a recycle value or something. I don't know. And yeah, I wasn't too fussed about what they said because they gave me the name of an evaluator that I went and took it to, and he put a higher price than I was going to put on it. So apparently I could take it back to them and they'd trust his word. And so they should have just, yeah, I don't know. So I wasn't too interested and fussed about what other people think with my opals, and that's why I've ended up with what I'm doing, and I'd encourage you to do the same. It's more fun. That's the fun of it. Be creative. So I'm probably rambling on that a bit too long, but just going through this parcel at the same time. There's a lot here to be cut, so this is going to be fun. I'll cut one of these on this video too in a little while. Like this piece here. It's like crystal, and sort of a jelly under there. That's a cool effect. More colour the better. Probably another little carving stone, that one. Again, I may say carving, but you know, it's always still going to have the potential for the cut later on, which I think keeps some of the value in the stone, even though it's a carving. So yeah, these bits being mine, gonna be doing what I please with them, and we'll all get to see that. Oh, nice bit of red there. Don't know if it'll last the cut. On the end there. The rest of that's nice. Cut that a bit on the angle, I think. So that was, as I say, I'm going to leave the dollar signs out of it, but just to put a price on it, we'll call this, you know, this is what you can get if you spend a few bucks. And if you spend a few bucks more and you're interested in Matrix, here's the latest on that. So here's the newest member of the tribe. Beautiful big stone. There's been a piece of it treated to show how it will treat, which has turned out fantastic. So I might just take this out. Better look. So that looks absolutely amazing. And this, though it's treated, isn't treated so much to try and imitate a black opal. It's done because you need to see the colour more. And yes, it goes blackened, but we're not trying to pass this off as a black opal of any kind. Again, down to the honesty of the seller. I'm honest, and I'll check that out. This is Matrix. I'm proud of it being Matrix and that it's treated, and check it out. Look at the work that went into this once it's finished. So there's no issue here trying to claim that, oh, this is a black opal. There's none of that. And yes, it's gone blackened because, well, duh. Sorry. It's a necessity with Matrix. This is the stuff that was once upon a time just thrown away because there was nothing they could do with it. They didn't know anything about treating. And now that we can produce this sort of an effect out of it, it's gained in value and interest. But there's no way anyone's trying to pass it off as black opal, though. It's treated Matrix, and in and of itself denotes it was this and is now this. It was never black opal, and it has been blackened, but we're not claiming it's black opal. It's just treated Matrix, and that's Matrix. I don't know, maybe back in the day when it started being able to be treated, they thought, oh, we could make extra bucks off this, we'll claim it's black opal. So I get there might have been a bit of deception in the past, and probably still is today somewhat, to a certain extent. Depends on the character of the person selling. But it's blackened, yes, but it's treated Matrix. It's not black opal. So I hope that separates that sort of thing a bit. So yeah, this will end up being treated, but I have to really leave this one for a long time before I think I can cut it, for the simple fact that the specimen alone isn't something I can come across every day. I've got to figure out how this even got in here. Excuse me for a second. Wow, so a stone this big kind of shows just how uneven a circular hole on a jar is. I actually had to turn it till it got to the right spot and came out. Wow. So here's the newest edition of Matrix. In all its glory, still got a bit of a skin around it. But when that's removed, that's inside. Absolutely gorgeous, full of colour. Bar after bar. But I'm going to enjoy this as it is for a while. Deciding all the things that I can do with it. A little bit of crystal on top there. Wow. Very similar to that other one I showed. A bit of a difference in price, this being matrix, but this is on par with the beauty. Another potato. So if we can get this to, yeah, this is just going to be full of beautiful stones. You can see it now. And because of that, I'm in no hurry to turn it into that because it's also beautiful as this. And that just comes off the side there. All you would have seen was not black rock, that's been treated, but whatever that host rock was all the way around it. And once it's been cleaned up and or broken apart, you could just, can you imagine finding that? This is gorgeous. So that'll make a few appearances in the future, no doubt. And here we come to the next jar, last jar. And this is where it steps right up a bit. So this will be a bit of a first for this channel anyway, and what I usually have, this is stepping it up a bit. So I hope you enjoy looking at this. This will make another appearance, not in this video, but I do intend to clean it up. Get the lid off. You ready? Oh, it's got water all down my leg, that's cold. Feast your eyes on this. There is some really amazing colour in this. It's clear all the way through. You can see the colour in the background moving at a different pace to the colour in the foreground. This is crystal on jelly. And this is absolutely amazing piece. I can't wait to reveal the colours under there. There's a natural fracture through there. So you can highlight it, if I shine the light in, you can see how the clay's gotten down in between it. So that happened in the ground. So that's a natural, acceptable break. And it's only a thin slither to come off. Possibly at a later date. So this is just going to get the main tidy up, carving tidy up with the leftover potential to cut into something, some amazing stones in the future. But this will be getting cleaned up in an upcoming video soon. I've got to get onto this. And I think I'll be cleaning this piece up as well. Some more of it. The colour in there, it's crystal. It's not black, it's not super dark, but it's crystal jelly. And this is going to cut some awesome stones. This whole parcel. This is real quality here. Stone after stone. Wow. I'm so happy that I was able to do this. And even more happy that I've been asked to tidy it up a bit. more and more of the same sort of a pattern, so they could be made a nice range out of this, matching pendants, earrings, ring, brooch, you name it. Gorgeous. There's a few smaller pieces in here alone. We'll also cut some fantastic stones. Still get that skin off the top. Can't wait to start on this. A couple other bits. Even they'll cut some really nice, beautiful little stones. I say little bits, they're just the little bits in the parcel, but still a few carats in there. At least 3 carats, 4 carats as it is. 3.5. Probably get a 2 carat, 1.5 to 2 carat stone out of there. Close to a $400 or $500 stone, if not more. So that is, I can't get over it. I'm not just looking at it, I'm handling it too. Are you jealous? Yeah. So am I. I wish I owned this. This is amazing. So I'm a little bit excited here, guys. In the sunlight, this really fires up again differently to the camera light I have here. But even with no light, you can just see it's just colour. It's a pretty large piece, this one. Can't wait to start on it. So, that said, I better put it down and stop playing. And we'll bring this one back out and we'll set the stone out of there to cut. Alright, so I've picked out one. I'm going to go with this. Let's see what I can get out of it. I'm thinking that way up. Get a lot of that. Put a light on, Phil. It's better. Sorry. Now you can see it. So we're going to get a lot of that pattern out of it. That way up, as opposed to that. So we'll head over to the wheel and start rubbing it back. Alright, so first we're just going to tidy it up a bit. Get it to sit straight. Just been taking a bit of this off here. So we'll get on with, hopefully this is the right switch. Yep. Alright, so we'll start by trying to line it up properly. So a flat spot across here somewhere. That's the way I want it. Flat spot across there. Yeah, let's sit up that way. bringing this edge in because it's a bit broken here, it's a bit broken here, and we need to make sure we've got enough side to go in. Going for a oval. I don't want to lose that. Teardrop. Alright, so I reckon that's about as close as I'm going to get it by hand. There's got a couple little spot there, just noticed, didn't get out yet. Get out on the stick. But she's tidied up quite well. There's little chips in the bottom. I'll tidy that up a bit more. But wow. Lots of colour. So we're going to get on the stick. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly weigh it as it sits. 8 carats, 8.2 carat. I'm hoping for about at least a 6 carat. We'll see. Yeah, all dopped up while it's dry. See a couple of spots I've missed where it's still coming down. Spot up the front here, but we'll get all that out. So we're going to give it a really nice shape from here, just sort of neaten up these corners a bit and start cutting. So these are my resident ducks that have adopted the place. They're wondering where I am and why I'm not out there feeding them. Hey, shall I come and give you something to eat? They're very friendly, these ducks. So I'm just going to go do that and come back and finish showing you this stone. Sorry. Gorgeous. You're going to come and clean out all the bugs. So yeah, these guys are just a tad spoiled. I ran out of duck pellets and wheat, so I'm going to get some more of that. So they're on bread at the moment and fruit. Healthy diet. Okay, not a bad little result here. Very pleased with this stone. It's even got that red dot that's the light going in, bouncing off the inside of the bottom of the stone and back up again. So you get that body tone colour, doubled. Love that effect. Sorry. So yeah, the colour came out really well, and the pattern's still there. A blocky, large blockiness, then the next bar down, and so forth. Zoom in a bit. Perfect polish all over. Ready to set. And hopefully get more like it out of here. So not a bad start. So I'm also going to weigh this. We'll get to that now. Alright, so I was hoping for at least 6, but we'll have to see what happens. It's got a really nice high dome. Oh, just under. 10.9 carat. That's 5.9 carat. 10.9, I wish. 5.9 carat. So there we go. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. That is very clean stone. Crystal opal. It's a bit cloudy at the bottom where the base is, but beautiful example of Andamooka opal. Alright, so it's alright, I'm losing myself looking at this. What I'm going to do is some low light at the end of this, so stick around if you're interested in seeing some better views of the opal I've showed through this video. We'll do a bit of a low light, and it brings out the colour more, looks really good. So other than that, thanks for watching, cheers.